Let me just say something that might surprise you. A woman can think she has all the time in the world to appreciate you, and she'll be dead wrong. Yes, really, it happens more than you think. And the craziest part? By the time she realizes what she had, you're already gone. You've already moved on. You've already decided that waiting around wasn't an option anymore. That's when everything shifts. That's when the silence gets loud, and that's when she starts missing the man she swore wasn't all that special. Here's the truth most men need to understand. Most women aren't consciously trying to hurt you. We're emotional creatures. We're testing boundaries. We're seeing how much we can get away with. Sometimes we take your consistency for weakness. Sometimes we confuse your patience for a lack of options. And sometimes we just assume you'll always be there until you're not. See, when a woman starts to feel like you've stopped orbiting around her, when your energy pulls back, when your presence fades, when you're suddenly no longer accessible the way you were, it flips something inside her. And that's when the missing begins. But by then, it's not about what you're doing. It's about how she feels in your absence. This isn't about blaming women or attacking them. It's about telling you the real truth so you can stop wondering what went wrong and start understanding how this dynamic actually plays out. Because yes, there are signs. There are psychological moments when a woman starts to miss the very man she overlooked. And if you're a man who's been taken for granted before, or if you're pulling back now and trying to understand what she might feel in the silence, this is for you. I'm going to walk you through it step by step, not from theory, but from how women actually think, how we actually feel when we realize we might have lost a man who wasn't so replaceable after all. It hits when you stop reaching out. You want to know when she starts missing you? It's not when you're arguing. It's not even when you're giving her space or acting distant. It's when your name stops showing up on her phone. You stop checking in. You stop texting. You stop sending those little updates she used to pretend annoyed her. And that's when the silence creeps in. Not outside, but inside her mind. Most women are used to being pursued. We're used to a man proving himself, showing up, being consistent, even when we're hot and cold. And when a man keeps showing up like that, we feel powerful. We think we've got him figured out. And in that mindset, it's easy to start taking him for granted without even noticing it. But when he stops, that's when it hits. At first, it feels like confusion. Why hasn't he messaged me today? Then it turns into checking the phone more often, refreshing social media, watching your stories just to see what you're doing, even if she never likes or comments. She feels that shift in your energy, and her ego doesn't know how to handle it. And don't think it takes long. A few days, maybe a week of distance is enough to make a woman who once said she needed space suddenly feel anxious about what you're doing without her. She starts wondering, did he meet someone? Is he mad? Did I mess up? Is he really done? What you have to understand is when a woman pulls back or acts like she doesn't care, it's often a test, a way to see how much you'll fight for her. But if you walk away instead, it shocks her system, because deep down, she expected you to hold on. And when you don't, she starts realizing just how much she relied on your presence, your voice, your attention, your reliability. The things she once overlooked become the things she starts craving. You stop reaching out. And that's the moment she starts realizing what she's losing. And the worst part for her, she can't just pick up where she left off, because now you've changed. You're no longer chasing. You're no longer giving your energy so freely. And suddenly, she's the one who has to wonder. That shift, that's when the missing starts. She remembers the things she didn't appreciate. You know what's wild? She doesn't miss you for the big gestures. She misses you for the little things. The things she didn't even realize mattered until you stopped doing them. It's not about the expensive dinners or the over-the-top surprises. It's about how you used to text her good morning without fail, How you noticed when she was tired, even when she pretended to be fine. How you'd show up not with flowers, but with her favorite snack. Or you'd remember something she said in passing that no one else caught. She remembers how you made her feel. Safe, heard, chosen. But here's the thing. At the time, she didn't always value it. She got used to it, comfortable, maybe even a little entitled. She assumed it was just who you were. The nice guy, the one who always cared, always gave, always showed up. And when she was wrapped up in her own moods, frustrations, or selfish moments, she probably made you feel like none of that mattered, like your efforts were invisible. But once you're gone, those same things echo loudly. She starts missing that steady, calming presence, the way you supported her without asking for credit, the way you forgave her when she wasn't her best. And she feels it not because you stopped doing it, but because no one else does it like you. She begins comparing every new man to you. And here's the honest truth most women won't say. When she finds herself around men who don't show that same emotional depth, who don't pay attention, who don't see her the way you did, that's when the regret sets in. Because now she gets it. She realizes she didn't just lose someone who liked her. She lost someone who actually cared. She lost someone who gave more than he got. Someone who was emotionally intelligent, aware, present. And that kind of man, he's rare. It hits her when she's laying in bed scrolling through her phone, seeing something that reminds her of you. It hits when someone else gets annoyed at her instead of patient. It hits when she tries to open up to someone new and realizes it's just not the same. You taught her a kind of love she didn't even know she needed until it was gone. And by the time she understands what she had, you're already out of reach. So yes, she misses you. But more than that, she misses how she felt when she was with you. And if you've ever wondered if she thinks about all those little things you did, she does, more than you know. She plays it cool, but inside she's spiraling. When she realizes she's taken a good man for granted, she doesn't always admit it right away. In fact, most of the time, she tries to play it cool. She'll act like she's unbothered, post a few living my best life stories, maybe even start casually talking to someone else. Not because she's over you, but because she's trying to look like she is. It's a defense mechanism. She doesn't want you to know that she's thinking about you, that she's replaying conversations, wondering if she pushed too far, if she mistook your love for weakness, and worst of all, that maybe she lost you for good. Inside, she's spiraling, quietly, secretly, but she won't show it. That's part of how women cope with regret. We compartmentalize. We try to bury it under distractions, attention, validation, but none of it actually works. Because the thing is, when a woman feels emotionally connected to a man and loses that, it doesn't just vanish. It lingers. It haunts. She'll see you moving on, glowing up, maybe even doing the things she said she wanted, but now you're doing them without her. And that stings. Because now she realizes it wasn't that you weren't enough. It was that she didn't recognize your value in time. But even then, she won't rush back. Not right away. She'll wait. She'll see if you reach out. She'll hope you still care, still check, still wonder. And when you don't, the panic sets in. She starts asking herself things she never did before. Was I too cold? Did I expect too much? Did I make him feel unappreciated? Does he hate me now? And it gets worse when you go silent, because now she doesn't know where she stands. And women hate uncertainty, especially when it comes from a man we assumed would always be there. See, we often assume we have time, that you'll be there waiting, that we can pull back and you'll chase, that we can test your patience and you'll stay. But when you don't, when you actually stop showing up, stop calling, stop caring, that's when she starts losing it inside. She might pretend she's unbothered, but trust me, the silence is louder than anything you could say. It forces her to sit with everything she ignored, all the ways she mistreated you, all the things you did that she brushed off. And the longer you stay silent, the more she realizes he really might not come back this time. That's when missing you turns into regret, and regret turns into a wake-up call. Not every woman gets there, but the ones who truly cared, even if they didn't act like it when they had you, they feel it deeply when they lose you. The ego battles the emotion, and emotion always wins eventually. Let me be real with you. When she starts missing a man she once took for granted, she doesn't just miss him quietly. There's a full-on internal war going on inside her. One part of her is screaming, "You messed up. You pushed away a good man." And the other part is saying, "No, stay strong. Don't show it. He should have fought harder." That battle between ego and emotion, it's brutal. The ego wants to protect her. It tells her not to admit fault, not to apologize, not to make the first move. Because if she does, it feels like weakness, like she's losing power. And a lot of women, especially the ones used to being in control or getting chased, will cling to that power, even when it's costing them the connection they actually want. But emotion doesn't stay buried forever. The truth is, she does feel it. Missing you hits her in waves, sometimes at night when everything is quiet, sometimes when she sees something that reminds her of you, sometimes when she's laughing with someone new and suddenly realizes it's not the same, that they don't make her feel how you did. That's when the emotional part of her starts pushing through. She begins to admit things to herself that she was too proud to say out loud. Like, I expected him to read my mind. I wanted him to chase me, not realizing he was already tired of proving himself. I acted like I didn't need him, but I actually did. And when those emotions start stacking up, the ego begins to lose ground. But here's where it gets tricky. She doesn't always show that emotional shift right away. You might not see it on the outside. You might think she's moved on, but inside, she's wrestling with what she feels and what she's afraid to admit. Sometimes she'll test the waters, like watching your stories, liking an old post, sending a "hey, hope you're good" message that doesn't say much, but really means "I'm still thinking about you." It's not always that she expects a full reconciliation right away. A lot of times, she just wants to know that she can reach you again, that the door isn't shut, that she didn't lose you completely. But if she senses that you've truly checked out, that you're emotionally gone, that your energy has shifted for real, that's when emotion fully breaks through the ego. And what was once just missing you turns into that pit in the stomach feeling that women don't talk about out loud. Regret with no return. And believe me, no woman wants to sit in that. It's painful, it's humbling, and it makes her wish she could rewind everything she said and did when she thought she had all the time in the world. When she sees you glow without her, it hits different. You want to know when she really starts to miss you? It's not always right after the breakup. It's not even when the silence kicks in. No, it's when she sees that you didn't stop living your life. That moment when she realizes you're not just sitting around feeling sorry for yourself, waiting for her to come back. That's when it hits. She looks at your social media, and it's like a different man. You look lighter, happier. You're out at events, traveling, hitting the gym, smiling in that way you didn't when you were together. There's no bitterness, no passive-aggressive captions, just peace. And she hates it. Not because she wants you miserable, but because she suddenly realizes she no longer has that power over you. She let a good man go, and now he's shining without her. Here's the thing. When a man pulls away, she might roll her eyes. But when a man levels up, she notices. Women always notice when a man stops chasing and starts glowing. It creates a psychological shift that's hard to ignore. Suddenly, she's not the one evaluating you. She feels like she's being evaluated. And the worst part? When it's clear you're not trying to prove anything to her, that's when it cuts the deepest. Because women know when a man is showing off to get our attention, And when he's genuinely in his zone, moving on, rebuilding. When she took you for granted, she assumed you'd still be in the same place emotionally. But when she sees that you're not, when your energy changes, when you're calm and unbothered, when your silence has substance, it forces her to face something she was trying to avoid. She was part of the problem, and once that thought sets in, it doesn't leave quietly. She starts thinking about what you brought to the table, your consistency, your softness, your strength, all the things she didn't value in the moment. And now she's watching another version of you, the healed, evolving version that she doesn't have access to anymore. It stings. It's when the missing begins, but not the light kind. It's the sick to your stomach kind, the kind that wakes you up at night and makes you wonder how you could have let someone like you slip away. When you stay silent, it forces her to feel everything. Let me say something you probably don't hear from women often. Silence from a man who used to care, it's not just no contact. It's psychological warfare in the best way possible. Because here's what really happens behind the scenes. When she takes a man for granted, it's usually because she assumes he'll always be around. Whether you're soft-spoken, forgiving, or just emotionally available, a lot of women translate that as safe, which unfortunately can be mistaken for expendable. But when that same man goes quiet, when you stop checking in, stop reacting, stop trying, it doesn't just create absence. It creates tension. It makes space for reflection. And that's dangerous for her because the silence becomes a mirror she can't look away from. Without your voice in her life, she's forced to hear her own thoughts. And that's when the real questions start creeping in. Did I mess this up? Why hasn't he called me? Was he really that into me? Wait, is he over me? And trust me, those thoughts spiral fast. Because once she senses you're no longer emotionally attached, it doesn't feel like peace to her. It feels like rejection. Even if she was the one who pushed you away, even if she walked first, your silence starts to feel like punishment, even though you're not doing anything but minding your own business. And here's what most men don't realize. When a woman knows she took a man for granted and he doesn't reach out, she doesn't feel empowered. She feels replaced. And that fear, it grows quietly, daily. Because she starts watching to see if you've moved on, checking if you've changed, asking around in subtle ways, looking for your name online. And if she doesn't find anything, it drives her crazy. Because she knows what that means. You're gone. Not temporarily, not waiting, gone. And deep down, every woman who's taken a man for granted fears one thing, that you'll finally realize your worth without needing her validation. So if you're in that silent phase right now, wondering if she's thinking about you, the answer is probably yes. But more importantly, it's not just that she's thinking, it's that she's feeling. She's sitting in a space she's not used to, one where she's not in control, where her feminine influence doesn't sway you anymore. And when a woman feels that kind of emotional disconnection from a man she once dismissed, that's when regret shows up. Not loudly, but quietly and deeply. So don't break the silence just because it feels uncomfortable. You have no idea how powerful it really is, or how much clarity it's creating in her. If you let her treat you like you're replaceable, she will. Let me be blunt here because sometimes you need to hear this. If you allow a woman to treat you like an afterthought, if you keep showing up for her when she clearly isn't showing up for you, if you keep proving your loyalty to someone who doesn't value it, then you're teaching her that you're replaceable. And I promise you, once a woman believes that about you, she'll start acting like it's true. Now, I'm not saying women are cruel or heartless, but we're emotional, intuitive, and when it comes to dating, extremely reactive to how a man presents himself. If you're always available, always agreeable, always forgiving, even when we cross lines, we stop feeling your value. And instead, we start seeing your desperation. And that's a really unattractive energy. Because here's the uncomfortable truth. Women don't respect what we can control. If we know you'll be there no matter how we act, we stop feeling that pull to be our best around you. You become easy, predictable, emotionally cheap. We don't mean to take you for granted, but we do. And by the time you realize it, it's already a dynamic, one you've silently allowed. But here's the good news. You can change it. And not by chasing, not by demanding respect. You change it by withdrawing your energy where it's not being reciprocated. You shift the power by holding yourself to a higher standard, not as a tactic, but as a lifestyle. You show her through action that you know who you are and that you're not afraid to lose someone who doesn't see your worth. And trust me, that change, she feels it. She notices when the energy shifts, when you stop chasing, when you start moving like a man who knows he brings value to the table, and you're not begging anyone to sit with you. So if you're in a situation where you gave too much and she started treating you like an option, it's time to stop blaming her and start checking yourself. What part of you kept hoping your love would be enough to make her appreciate you? That's the part that needs healing. Because the minute you realize that you have the power to set the tone for how you're treated, everything changes. A woman can't take a man for granted who doesn't give her the chance to. Let that sink in. Here's the truth most women won't say out loud. We don't miss you because you were nice. We don't miss you because you did everything right. We miss you when you make us feel something we can't replace. That's not always about looks or status or being the perfect guy. It's about how you hold yourself. It's about the emotional imprint you leave behind when you finally walk away. Not in anger, not in desperation, but in peace. Quiet, confident detachment hits different. When a man stops trying to prove his worth and simply lives like he knows it, that's when we start remembering him. And if we took you for granted, that shift doesn't just sting, it haunts us. Because now we know we can't get that version of you back. Not unless we rise to meet you, not unless we become worthy of you. So if you've been hurt by a woman who didn't see your value, don't chase closure. Don't chase her. Become the man who doesn't need to be seen because he already sees himself. And believe me, that is the man she misses.